Good morning. My name is Jason Hollinger. I'm the preaching and community minister here for the Lufkin Central Church. And this morning, for Jesus and Coffee, I would like to take us to Ezekiel chapter 33. This chapter is titled as Ezekiel is Israel's watchman. Now, the role that the watchman had was to, when, as you're up there, and the watchman was up there in the tower, and when he saw danger coming, and he is to blast the trumpet. He sees it, and then the trumpet blast is a warning to those hearing it. Well, then those hearing it have an opportunity to respond either way. You can listen and say, okay, that means danger's coming, so I need to do what I need to do to get away from danger, or you could ignore it. Right? You could ignore it and not do anything about it. So Ezekiel chapter 33, we're going to start in verse 1. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, speak to your people and say to them, if I bring sword upon a land, and the people of the land take a man from among them and make him their watchman, and if he sees the sword coming on the land and blows the trumpet and warns the people, then if anyone who hears the sound of the trumpet does not take warning, and the sword comes and takes him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and did not take warning. His blood shall be upon himself. But if he had taken warning, he would have saved his life. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and does not blow the trumpet, so that the people are not warned, and the sword comes and takes any one of them, that person is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at the watchman's hand. So you, son of man, I have made a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give warning from me. If I say to the wicked, O wicked one, you shall surely die, and you do not speak to warn the wicked to turn from his way, that wicked person shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. But if you warn the wicked to turn from his way, and he does not turn from his way, that person shall die in his iniquity, but you will have delivered your soul. Now, you see this, and there's a lot of iniquity, a lot of turning, just a lot of big talk. It can be very confusing. So let me kind of bring it together and issue your challenge for today. What we see here in Ezekiel chapter 33, yes, is the job of the watchman, but is also the job of a disciple, of a follower of Jesus, as one who trusts in God and who follows after him, who has heard his call and who has surrendered his life to live for him and to die for him, right? As we looked at Sunday before last on discipleship, that definition of discipleship, a call to live and a call to die. And so the job of the watchman is that when you see danger coming, when you see something coming that could be dangerous to someone, when you see something coming that could bring harm upon them, you are to warn them. The job of the disciple is when you see somebody living a life that will lead ultimately to their eternal death, a death separated from God. It is our job to share what God has done for us and use what God has done for us through us as we lead others to know him. So your challenge today is to find a way to be the watchman for your family, for your friends, for your neighborhood, for your community. And when you see somebody living in opposition to God, when you see things around you that are in opposition to God, call them out for what they are. Not call them out in that sense, and I don't mean that in a sense of embarrass someone or say, turn or burn, you're going to hell if you live this way. No, I'm saying call them out of that by using God's power, by using God's forgiveness, by using God's grace, by using God's love. Help to lead them out of a life that is leading them to be eternally separated from God. We've already found ourselves in the season of separation, right? Let's not live in an eternal season of separation from God. Call them out of the sin that they are living in and draw them in by the power of God to a life of hope, to a life of grace, to a life of mercy, and to a life of discipleship that is done in such a way, that will then lead them to know that they are to do that for someone else. That's your challenge today. That's your challenge today, to see sin, to see opposition, to see those living not the way that God created them to live, and to help lead them out of that, help them to hear God's call and lead them to a life living for Him. And hey, it may start with you living more focused on Him than you currently are right now. That's your challenge. Y'all have a great day. God bless.